All right, so today we're going to talk about organizing tabs and look at a couple of different options you have when you're organizing your tabs and your links. And so let's just go ahead and get started. It's easier to understand what I'm talking about as we kind of start to do it a little bit. So we click on our site. You hopefully went to go to the Go page and then click on Sites and log in if you need to. So we've got several tabs: Home, Calendar, Notes, Tutorials. And so on some tabs, sometimes you might have like an option when you hover, and this when you kind of go over something without clicking, it's referred to as hovering. So when you hover over a link, it highlights it in this case, but you could also, in some cases, you could hover over it and it gives you some more links to or options for you. And so we're going to talk about that and do that. So we've already got a notes page, and if you notice here, if you'll remember, we added these we put these attachments on there. We also talked about adding links. And so, but another option, instead of putting your notes here, or you could, or your different chapters over here like this, you can have it to where when you hover over notes, you could click on chapter 3 and it would take you to the chapter 3 notes, and then the chapter 4 notes page and things like that. And so we're going to work on doing that. And so I'm going to do just a start fresh. So I'm going to make a new page, and we'll just call it Notes 2. And you see here, select location, put page at the top level, put page under notes. That will be the section what we will choose on subsequent notes that we're adding. So we're going to go ahead and create this page. And I'm just going to, I kind of like the left sidebar look, and so I'm going to continue with that. Yeah, I could change it later if I don't end up wanting that, and I click Save. I'm going to get rid of comments, and I'm going to get rid of, in this case, the attachments as well. So let's just real quickly remember that. That's just a page action, so it's page settings. I'm not going to allow comments, not going to allow attachments, not going to show page title, and that's that part up there. I'm going to click Save. Okay, so one thing we don't have, I haven't added the tab yet, so that's going to be something that's on every page of the website. And so go to Edit Site Layout, click on that, add that page, which is my Notes 2, and add that, and click OK, and there it is. And now I'm going to close out the Edit Site Layout. Now I'm back to just the site. I'm on the Notes 2 page, and I would like to add something and make some changes here. One of the things, let's say I'm going to add a new page of chapter 3. So it's chapter 3, but it is going to be under my notes page. Oh, did I put 3 up here? I don't think I did. So it's under my notes page, and then I create it. And so now I have this new page, but it does. I could put a tab, but if you'll, I'm going to go ahead and save. And once again, just as a good way of reminding, page settings. I'm not going to allow comments or attachments or page title. Maybe I'll keep the title on this one, just maybe make it a little more helpful. Okay, so I'm in notes and I'm in chapter 3. So I need to have chapter 3 show up where I can just automatically go to that. And so what I'm doing, I'm going to go over to these actions, and it's once again Edit Site Layout, and it has to do with the horizontal navigation. And I need to add a page. I don't have the chapter 3, so I'm going to add chapter 3. But under that, you see where it is? It's under, there's that plus sign, minus sign, so there's more here. So it's there, and I click OK. And now it is here, and I click this button, and it goes in. You see how it's indented, and that notates that kind of notes that it's under the Notes 2 page. And I click OK. And so now I close this out. When I hover over Notes 2, chapter 3 shows up. So that's significant because as we add more and more pages, if you're just having one page, well, it wouldn't make sense to do that. But let's say I'm going to have notes for every chapter. So chapter 4, I need a page for that. I create. Oh, I may have I made a mistake there. I think I'm not sure where I put that. So that's okay because I'll just go ahead and save, and I am going to then edit site layout. I'm going to hover over the horizontal navigation. I'm going to add a page, and see, notice it's not already embedded under that. I want to put it there, so I'm going to add that page. I click OK, and it's here, and so it would automatically show up. So I want it to show up only when I hover over the notes, and so I'm going to move it underneath, and it's indented so that notes that it's under this Notes To page. Okay, and so it's still nothing else shows up. I close out the site layout editing, and now I have chapter 3 and chapter 4. And notice how chapter 4 is highlighted or is darker because, or bolded, because it is that's the page I am on. And so I'm going to do just a couple more that. I'm going to add another page, chapter 5, and I'm going to put this. See, notice it gives me chapter 4 as the option to put it under. Well, I don't want it under 4. I want it under Notes 2. So I choose a different location, and I'm going to click Notes 2, and I'll click Create. And so now what I still have to do, though, I didn't add the tab technically. So let me go back to Edit Site Layout. And I didn't put it here. So I still need to do that. Add page. Wonder why that shows up like that. Didn't quite do that the right way. So chapter 5 is there. Okay, it's over here. There we go. Click OK. All right. And now when I hover, after I close this out, you'll see I've got chapters 3, 4, and 5 all here. And so let's go ahead and make some changes here. So I go to chapter 3, and I'm going to, I need to edit this page. I'm going to change the layout to a sidebar. And on chapter 3, I would like to have, let's say, I'll start with Roanoke, then Jamestown, then Plymouth. Okay, so those will all be notes that I would be able to find here. And you don't have to do the sidebar. There's really, in this specific case, there's a picture that, or a few pictures or something I wanted over here that are important to this, or some key terms. You know, you could do the key terms for the chapter here. Might be a good place for something like that. So I've got notes on this side. And I could even put that up here, like chapter 3 note. And so part of what I'm talking about here is just a little more of organization and just helping to kind of think about, well, how do I want to organize my notes? So chapter 3 notes is over here, and then over here I might write vocabulary. Okay, did I spell vocabulary right? All right. And so then if I want to make these notes, I link. This is a quick review of what we did last time, and I need a web address. Well, I don't have the web address with me right here, but it's in my Google Drive account, and so I come over here and to this page because that's where I'm already logged in. I click over here on this icon, go to Drive, and I find my Roanoke notes, and they're probably down near the bottom, maybe not. So I'm gonna just, and there you see it even actually starts to show up. I click on that. Okay, and you'll see, so these aren't the notes that I actually use, but that's okay. I click copy because that's the link that I need, and I will then go back over to my chapter 3 tab. It's going to show that. I paste in And that to do that, you do the right click and paste in that web address. I like to open it in a new tab, and then I click on OK, and now I've got my Roanoke link. And then I would just do the same thing with Jamestown and with Plymouth. And so you could just list vocabulary here, perhaps, or you could maybe there's a review game, so you have notes over here, vocabulary. You've just got some options here. And so I'm going to click Save. And so now this is, you can see I've got notes to chapter 3. And I think the difference here, so now there's this chapter 4. I could do the same thing, and it would, you'd probably keep it looking pretty much the same, fairly similar. So I'm going to edit this page, change my layout to a sidebar, chapter 4 notes, and then vocabulary over here, and so on and so forth. Click Save. Now I still don't want to add files and do comments here, although this could be the way you do your notes. You could just add your files like this, selecting them directly from your website, from your computer. So that would be an option as well. And now you've just give it a chance to upload, and then boom, there's your Massachusetts Bay Colony notes straight as a PowerPoint. So that is not a bad option at all. But I am going to take comments off, and that's a page settings. I don't generally want that. So there we are. And so that is actually also one of the differences here. So that I kind of earlier, you may remember chapter 4, I said, oh, I made a mistake there. So I did chapter 3, and you'll notice it has notes here, and so then it shows you that this is under the notes. But when I do chapter 4, that doesn't show up, and that's because I didn't actually set that it was under that. I can make that change, although I'll have to, I'm not exactly, I'll have to kind of look at it a little bit to see how, let's see, is this how I would change it? No. Page settings again. I'm not exactly sure how to make that change, but that's okay. It's not important, because either way, you'll notice I'm able to put the chapter here when it hovers and it shows up. So there we are. That's how, a little bit about organizing tabs, having links appearing when you hover.